Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you're all having a really great week and everything is going great for each and every one of you. This week I thought our lesson could kind of be a little bit on understanding other people's needs. We all have other people that we are around, other people that we encounter each and every day, whether that be people that we live with, roommates, family, friends, coworkers. We all encounter each and every, or other people each and every day. So today we're going to talk about understanding other people's needs. When we think about how we understand another person, we have to understand that good communication is really the heart of a good relationship. Good communication is key for any happy relationship, whether that's with family, friends, coworkers, significant others, anyone that we have a relationship with. It's all about understanding other people's needs and having our needs heard at the same time. It's a skill that can be learned, and it will help deepen your connections with other people, but it's also a skill that's kind of tough and it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of practice. So since we know that communication is really the key to any good relationship, when we think about that communication includes sharing our thoughts and our needs, sharing our wants, and being able to also listen to those of other people. When we take that time to listen to that of other people, that's the critical part. That's the really important part of forming that close relationship and making sure that we feel valued in that relationship as well as the other person feels valued in that same relationship. Good communication, we have to remember, does go two ways. You are having that communication or that conversation with another person, so it also involves one person expressing what they have to say and the other person listening. It does sound kind of simple, but relationships bring up difficulties. They are often caused by that poor communication. So we either find it hard to share what we want clearly, expressing what our needs are, or we really fail to hear what the other person is trying to say to us or what the other person is trying to communicate to us. When we think about these relationships and communicating, we all have the same common needs and the same common wants and feelings, and we both really want to just be treated respectfully. We want to make sure that we belong in that relationship. We want to make sure that we're happy, we feel safe, and that relationship is strong, and we want to make sure that we're valued in that every day. So if we can help ourselves to get a clear understanding of what we want as well as the other person and what their needs are, then we have a much better chance of being able to have a more deeper and more positive and more healthy relationship with that other person. Again, these relationships can be for anything. We do want to make sure that we have that clear understanding and that safe feeling with our friends, our family, co-workers, significant others. We want to make sure that all of those relationships that we have are not toxic and that all these relationships that we have within our lives are healthy and they're positive relationships. When we think about the understanding of how important that communication is, making a request or explaining why something is bothering us is key to helping the other person understand where we're going or what we're trying to get from our relationship. If we're angry with somebody, our anger is because we have something that's important, some important need that hasn't been met. And if we don't explain that need to the other person, they might not understand or misinterpret why we really are angry. And then it's more likely that we get angry or upset in return. So if we don't explain and we can't express why we're angry or what we're upset with, it's just going to build that anger for yourself as well as the other person because they're not understanding what is the underlying cause as to why you're angry. When that happens and we both parties in that relationship feel that anger and frustration, it just continues to spiral out of control, or it just continues to stay in that same pattern or that same path where both people are really feeling upset, angered, and frustrated. So instead, if we recognize what our needs are and the needs of other people, we have the opportunity to connect with them, to really find out what is underneath that upsetness or that angriness, and be able to help people act in a more positive and have a more positive reaction to that. We also have the best chance of having our own needs met if we're able to express clearly what those needs are. So it's about giving and inviting empathy, and about being open, about being honest, and about identifying those real, true emotions and feelings, as well as those wants and needs. So when someone has done something that really annoys you or upsets you, what are some of those things that we can do to help with our communication? What can we say or do to be able to communicate through that the right way? So one of the things that you can do, I've got 5 things that we could kind of talk about today, is listen to your judgments. Sometimes we jump to conclusions. We jump to conclusions about why somebody is acting that way, why somebody is upset. If we act on those jumping to conclusions or those judgments without really understanding their needs, it's going to cause miscommunication. It's going to cause disagreement and more frustration. So we need to try to notice what we're telling ourselves about somebody is not always right. We need to make sure that that other person is able to communicate with us why they're upset or what those wants and needs are. Make sure that we're identifying the facts. Don't have those judgments and that miscommunication or those jumping to conclusions. Take what we call a neutral perspective. So you are going to try to describe that situation in a way that you're not involved, so that you have no real true side in the way that you're looking at it. You're just going to identify the facts of what's happening in that situation. Another step you can do is to name your feelings. Describe how you yourself felt in that situation. Make sure you can identify your feelings. And then state your needs. So you can identify what you're feeling, and then you need to also explain your needs that led to those feelings. And then the last step is to make your request. So what specific thing can that other person do in order to meet your needs? They may not be able to or want to do what you've requested, but you being able to clearly state what your needs are is going to help point out what you want and help communicate that to another person. So putting those steps together is really going to kind of help us out. So I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. Using those 5 steps, we're going to see how we could deal with a situation where you are living with a roommate and your roommate leaves their dirty clothes on the floor in the bathroom. Okay? This is frustrating and it's really bothering you. It's a very frustrating issue. So you need to communicate that with your roommate. So once again, your roommate has left their dirty clothes on the floor of the bathroom. So this is what this might look like. Listening to your judgments. When you jump to conclusions, your conclusions might be where you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, they are so messy. They are so inconsiderate. They really should learn to look after themselves. Take more responsibility for keeping this place tidy. He's always expecting me to do all the cleaning, but if he would just straighten up, then we wouldn't have to worry about this. So now what you're doing is you're jumping to conclusions. You're blaming everything on him, saying that he needs to look after himself. He needs to pick up after himself. He's always expecting you to do everything when he does nothing. So the second step is to identify the facts. So now let's describe that behavior in a non-judgmental way. So an example of that would be when you leave your dirty clothes on the bathroom floor. So we know what are the facts? Those dirty clothes are always on the bathroom floor. The next step was name your feelings. So now you need to explain how that behavior makes you feel. So we know the facts are that your roommate leaves his dirty clothes on the floor. So naming your feelings, when you leave your dirty clothes on the bathroom floor, I really feel annoyed and upset. The next step was to state your needs. So now you need to explain the needs that make you feel that way. So now you've said you feel annoyed and you feel upset. So why do you feel that way? So you might say, when you leave your dirty clothes on the bathroom floor, I really feel annoyed and upset because keeping the house tidy makes it nicer for all of us to live in. And when you leave your clothes around, it seems you don't care about our house or what's important to me. So now you've stated your needs. Why do you feel that way? Because a clean house is important to you. Your clean apartment is important to you. And when they do that, they're not respecting the needs that you have. And then make your request. Finally, ask that person to do something different. I would really appreciate it, so this is the example, I would really appreciate it if you would be willing to put your dirty clothes in the laundry basket. Do you think that's something that you could do? So now we've made that request. We want to make sure that our bathroom stays clean and there's no dirty clothes. So by asking your roommate, I would really appreciate it if you could put those in the hamper, if you could put them in the laundry basket. And then asking them if that's something that they could do. So that's a way that you can communicate what is happening, how you feel about it, what your needs are, and then making a request to maybe fix that situation. Being very clear, very precise, and very specific about what is upsetting you and why. Now, the other person in that situation needs to make sure that they're being an active listener, that they are understanding what your feelings are, your emotions, and being able to process that as well too. They need to then make their response and understanding, well, okay, are you understood? And then they need to be understood. So the other person may have to come back with that same situation, identifying their facts, their feelings, their needs, and making a request. So even though you've made a request, you have to respect the other person's response. And then you may have to repeat that process, in which it may take a few turns for each one of you to express your feelings and your needs to come to a positive solution for everyone. When we have to think about what somebody else needs, and when we want to have things our way, it makes things a little bit difficult. But we have to be understanding of others. We have to be understanding of them and yourself in the same situation, and be able to work together to make that situation and that relationship positive. So what I kind of want you to do is think about a situation, something that maybe is frustrating or annoying to you with somebody else, and to be able to communicate those needs. At the same time, understanding the needs of the other person. A coworker, a friend, a family member, a roommate, a significant other. Make sure when you're communicating your needs and wants that you also listen to their needs and wants and communicate those together. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I look forward to seeing all of you again soon, and have a great day. Bye.